Hello, everybody. I am going to read part of a story from a new book that comes out June 10th. And the story is Identity Crisis. Actually, hold on a second. Fletcher, log into Facebook. Make sure I just wanted to make sure the sound was working. Okay, sorry. Anyway, the story is Identity Crisis. John Donovan awoke in a small, windowless room, unable to see. It felt like it was morning, though there was no way he could be sure. Time didn't have much meaning for him anymore. He clapped his hands, and the 20-watt light bulb hanging over his bed came to life, filling the sparse room with a yellowish light. It had taken him a good 3 or 4 hours to figure out that the bulb was attached to a clapper, but by now he was almost used to it. The room had been his life for nearly a week. The bed, the light bulb, a metal toilet in the corner, a sink beside it, and a door with a keypad that, no matter how many different number combinations he tried, wouldn't open. The same thing, morning after morning, for 6 days. Only this morning something was different. He was startled by a scratching noise coming from somewhere inside the wall to the right of the bed. This was new. He rolled out of bed and dropped to his knees beside the wall, pressing his ear to the sheetrock. The noise seemed to be getting louder. Scritch, scratch, scritch, and then it stopped. He waited a moment, but nothing. Frustrated, he punched the wall, sending a jolt of pain through his knuckles. Shit. Cradling his throbbing hand, John slumped against the floor of the bed and began to cry. The last thing he remembered before waking up in this dark and lonely room was going into McNulty's, a little hipster bar on Walker Street, on a business trip to New York City. After that, it was all blank. Try as he might, he couldn't dredge up even a glimpse of what might have come after. He was supposed to be gone for 2 nights, and it had been at least 6, so surely his wife had reported him missing by now. He wondered for the thousandth, maybe millionth time about his wife and daughter, what they were doing, what hell they were going through. Mackenzie was only 6 years old. Did she think her father had abandoned her? He couldn't stomach that thought. And Maureen, what did Maureen think? They'd had problems last year after he'd had a brief fling with someone at the office, but she'd forgiven him, and he'd vowed to make it up to her, and had made good on his promise. He hadn't cheated since. But what if Maureen thought he'd run off with his new secretary or something? Would she even contact the police? That thought terrified him. He got up and began to pace the room, something he had been doing a lot of lately, as he felt the walls begin to close in on him. He was not going to die here. There had to be a way out of this and back to Maureen and Mackenzie. But how? His captor came into the cell every night when John was sleeping and left a tray of food on the floor at the foot of the bed. It was always scrambled eggs, bacon, toast, and orange juice, and a 2-liter bottle of water that would last him through the day. And this morning was no different. Every night he fell asleep vowing to see his captor's face, but every morning woke up after he'd already come and gone. He knelt to retrieve the tray, and there it was again, that noise coming from inside the wall. Ignoring the food, he dropped to his knees again and pressed his ear against the plaster, listening, immediately tumbling backwards as something hard and sharp bit into his cheek. He backed away from the wall, holding his face as blood ran down his fingers. He bit down on his lips, keeping inside the scream he felt fighting its way up his throat. John's gaze fell back to the wall, where he saw what looked like the tip of a flathead screwdriver disappearing, leaving a small hole in its wake. Dust floated from the hole to gather on the concrete floor of his cell. "Hello," said a tentative female voice coming from the other side of the hole. "Is anyone there? Please tell me someone's there. Please!" He said nothing for a moment, afraid it was some cruel trick devised by his unknown captor. After all, the monster had toyed with him before. Just yesterday he had left a wadded up piece of paper on the floor that contained 8 numbers. that John had hoped was a combination for the lock that held him in his cell. It wasn't, of course. It was just another way to torture him, and it worked. Please answer me. I know I heard someone there, pleaded the voice on the other side of the wall. Please. Hello, he finally answered, still pressing his hand against his cheek. Who is this? Thank God, said the voice. He told me I was all alone, but I had to hope. Who is this? He repeated. And why did you stab me with the screwdriver? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. My name's Kinsey Graham. I've been locked in this room for a while now. 5 or 6 days, I think. What's your name? The name Kinsey reminded him of his daughter, and he thought for a moment his heart might break. He swallowed, held his breath for a second, and bit back his despair. He debated revealing his name, then decided it didn't matter. His captor undoubtedly already knew his identity from his missing wallet. My name's John Donovan, he finally said. Are you a prisoner too? Yes, I was kidnapped, John. How? I met a guy on Matchstick, one of those internet matchmaking sites, and we decided to meet in person at a bar, but he never showed up. Some other guy offered to buy me a drink, and I stupidly accepted, and he must have roofied me. Next thing I know, I'm waking up here in this room. Her words came out in a rush, tumbling hurriedly after one another, leaving her gasping for breath. And that's all I'm reading for now. Hopefully you guys will buy the book, be it an autographed copy from me, or a paper book on Amazon, or Kindle on Amazon. It's also on Kindle Unlimited. And I hope you enjoyed my little read through, and I hope you're interested enough to read the ending.